Friday. I like this one. I say great looking because it's not too hot, ain't too rainy, just in between. That's my kind of weather. Enjoy this weather while it lasts, because don't you forget what June and July and September then was. That was hell on earth. Okay, the weather is changing in the world, and the environment is changing. It's getting hotter and it's getting colder. So when we got a little cool in the Caribbean, we gotta enjoy it a little bit. We have our next conversation here. We just had Shamina Rosebrook from the URSM party, number 5. And now I am very happy to be joined by someone who has no bone in his tongue, which is why you like having a conversation with him. Because you just say what you have to say. That is MP Claudius Buncamper, number 2, the deputy leader of the Nation Opportunity Wealth Party. We had a leader earlier this week. We have the deputy leader now with the Now Party. The Now Party has been picking up some momentum and some steam here and there. So, MP, welcome.
Thank you.
And the party has been gaining and chugging and chugging and chugging and chugging and chugging. How do you feel about that as the first question?
I feel very good. I think the Now is on a roll. The Now is nearly becoming the party to beat.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to focus on the Now. Everybody wants to focus on me or on Chris. And I can this and I can that. And Chris got an investigation running. Look, bottom line is this. The people are going to vote who they want in office.
That's right.
And no politician, no minister is going to be able to change that. I think the days of I'm going to throw a chicken leg at you or I'm going to throw this at you, I think those days are gone,
Right.
Even people are telling you, I don't want your money. I just want good representation. And that, no government can pound their chest and say, we did that. Yes, you were there for 4 years, but what did you accomplish? Nothing.
Yeah.
You have MPs crying about, COVID and Irma still affecting them. And then when you look at some politicians, they got the gall to do as if the NRPB work, when it comes to housing, is theirs.
Yes.
A set of lunatics. These people are delusional. When he fixed the towers in Belvedere, the NRPB fixed it. And there was a time when the Dutch government got agitated with the way the government was behaving,
right,
that Chris Johnson went down there and sat and took the pictures himself to show where the money came from and who was doing it, because it was not the government. The government has undermined the St. Martin Housing Foundation much more than it has helped them. They never really wanted them in charge. They wanted to do their thing with friends and family. Housing Foundation said no. Government of the Netherlands said no. NRPB, you taking the lead. So to tell me you fixed 300 plus homes, you fixed nothing. You didn't even have budget. The Minister of VSI tried it to do about 6 or 7 homes. He tried something. Not the Minister of Rumi, because he had no budget.
It also came to the point where former State Secretary Knops said he didn't even know what to believe.
Well,
anymore. when information comes out of who did what at NRPB, the government tell him one thing, and
it's the unfortunate thing that we take all information, we try to cluster it together and do as if it's ours, and that's not correct. Because look, I have beaten on NRPB many times, but give them credit. They did do the houses. They're the ones that paid the $14 million to clear up the dump. But the government going to take credit for that too?
Yeah.
They're the ones that, because whenever you bring up the $14 million that was paid to a bunch of people that were basically housing on government land illegally, the government jumps up fast and said, no, that was the NRPB. Remember that? Well, the towers in Belvedere, that was the NRBP. Yeah. Remember that? Don't put it on your resume. Yeah. It's not yours. Yeah. And that's what I noticed some of the candidates are doing now. They are making up a resume that's theirs. I listen to them once in a while. And today, I had the good fortune to put on the radio at the right time. Mm-hmm. And the Minister of Rome was venting and ramping. And then I heard him talk about the bunks syndrome.
Bunks?
The bunk syndrome, because...
Bunks in a ball or bunks as in you?
Bunks as in me, because in public works, they don't believe him. They still, after 4 years, don't believe him. Okay. But Buncamper said, but Buncamper don't know. And now we got a new professor. Listen.
How long you haven't been there?
I've been there for 4 years. But the boys, them still believe in me and not in them. Okay. It tells you, loyalty is something you earn. Yeah. And I didn't earn it by brainwashing them. I earned it by taking care of them and promising them that you're going to do this, and they work in the hot sun and you're going to fix their salary. That's hogwash. Look at what the Minister of Justice just did with the police. Hogwash. Let me, one word, hogwash. Because they can't do nothing. This is a process that when we tried it a few years back when I was there, the governor said no, because the functions were generic. So you first have to change all the functions. That's going to take years. To get a new function book for the ministry. Well, you see what it was with justice, right? 10 years. But you fixing this, so you're going to promise them nano for elections. I mean, come on.
The thing is, yesterday, though, if you just step back a little bit, the budget amendment was passed yesterday. And the argument is, the guys, is it's passed to pay the justice workers their whatever's owed to them. I had a couple of justice workers in here. They're saying, okay, that's all nice and well. It passed, but we still don't know when, how, who, where, what we get really owed to us, what exactly is happening. Miss Roseberg, who was here just now, she's our attorney representing the union for the police. She too says they're not clear as to what it even meant. Now we saw that the No Party the No Party representative, which is MP Emmanuel, didn't vote for it. I need your opinion on exactly what your opinion on what was passed, and then explain to me, I don't know if you can, behind the parties not supporting it. Is there a lack of information? What is it?
The amended budget meant nothing.
Okay.
It had no value. Right. For 3 days, MP Emmanuel was in there trying to ask, giving quorum, because the government itself couldn't form the quorum.
Correct.
Their own people won't come in. That budget passed yesterday because 2 PFP MPs voted for it. Otherwise, there were only 6 people in there and there would have been no budget passed. Let's be honest. 750,000 guilders was allotted in the budget for the justice workers. There are 700 plus workers in justice. 550 had to be placed again in the new formation, with new jobs and descriptions and salaries. From those 550, 200 LBAs have been made. So new thing. Those have to be signed off, and then those 200 come in consideration for payment. There are 120 objections right now on the placements. Right. So I want to believe those 200, the 120 come from 200.
Right.
Because you can't object to something that you didn't get before or see before. So 80 of the 750 is what a minister is boasting that she going to do. 750,000 guilders out of the 44 million needed to pay them back. Are you serious? And you're telling the people you're not taking care of them. What they did is they created a promise, a lie. We're going to pay them. We're going to pull off another Doran and we're going to win the elections. Well, you're not going to pull off another Doran, because the Doran that he pulled has now caused a lot. People have to repay monies that they received 4 years ago. So you see, it is lie upon lie upon lie. They promised civil servants they're going to pay them COLA.
Yes.
COLA. Now suddenly they run out telling the unions, but wait, COLA is not mandatory, you know. Don't fool yourself. We're going to do that as a nice gesture if we got money. But you have been telling the people for months, if not 2 years, that you're going to fix the COLA from 2012 to 2023. Civil servants were rejoicing and said, we're going to have a nice Christmas. Police officers and their families were rejoicing, we're going to have a nice Christmas. Crap smoke their pipe. Nobody having nothing. The budget passing didn't do anything. And then you get these eloquent stories.
Yeah.
Listen, whatever GB still owes the government after they do the barter deal, so you got to pay me concession, I got to pay you electricity, whoever stay over, tell GB keep it. And we're going to make a fund. Let's say if it's 2 million, we can give 10,000 households, 2,000 guilders towards the outstandings, so we give relief. Now, you see, this is a beautiful story. And the Herald, gullible enough, jumps and writes the story. But what's the story behind the story? Because Ralph used to say it, the story behind the story.
Yeah.
Your budget is passing with a 1 million guilder surplus. You are bringing up a proposal for 2 million. That means your budget then became a deficit budget. And then you can say, no, things are because we negotiate in 2024. What kind of ludicrousy is this? It's either you're going to pass 2023, correct? Which means no money from 2023 going back to GB. Right. Budget passed, that money is being collected. So GB ain't getting no break there. The 10,000 people ain't getting no break on the 2,000 guilders. These are dangerous things, because this is what you call fool's gold. It is nonsense. It is not true. It sounds nice, but it is not reality. This is not reality. I said it before. 75 to 80% of the public of St. Martin, the consumers of GB, owe GB some sort of money.
That's true.
75 to 80%. GB has 24,000 electrical connections, 20,000 water connections. If we just take the 24,000 and you're going to take 10,000, which 10,000 is going to be? How are you going to select the 10,000? Because it's 24,000 they got.
Yeah.
So how are you going to select them? Are you going to pick and choose who you're going to give it to? Are you going to set criteria? Because that wasn't set. That wasn't set. So nothing is happening for now. These are all Nancy stories. They can work if you prepare for them properly. And then the question is this. So why we didn't talk about this 8 months ago?
Yeah.
Why didn't we prepare to help the people 8 months ago? Why is it that now, in the last 27 days to election, everything needs to be done? Everything can work. I mean, I listened to people talk.
The work going on, that was amazing.
Not only that, the amount of lies that are going on and misinterpretation. Because I heard a minister said, oh, you know how we're going to fix all the potholes? We're going to raise the car inspection tax. And I'm saying, but this is, I know he's delusional. I know he drinks some kind of juice that got him going crazy. Because the same minister said a few days ago on stage that take T.O. and take the good old William Allen when he was in a good day, put them together, he's 4 times better. Now he comes out and says, we're going to raise the inspection tax on cars, and with that we're going to fix the potholes because we're going to put it in the road fund. No, sir. The law states that the road fund must be supplemented with all the monies collected from the road tax fee, the 11 plus million guilders. But that they ain't doing. That is keeping it in a different pocket. The road tax, that's where it has to go by law. That's the road fund. It's regulated in the law. The minister was boasting, but how are you going to fix it up? And here you have another minister telling you, no, but we're going to just take the money from the inspection to put there. No. The reason there was a discussion about raising the inspection fee had to do with the heavy equipment on this country that cannot be properly inspected. So you'd have to build a different type of inspection center to do that. And some of the monies might have offset this because you don't want to keep it in one place. Put an inspection center over the hill, put one here. Cut up the pie, share the pie. But that's not what he was saying. He said we're keeping it all together.
Raise it.
Exactly. And this is where we gotta, let me get the things them straight. Let me get them straight out there, because if this is the way you're going to inform the public to try to win an election, I mean, I had somebody campaigning for me in Belvedere. You know that people them were told that I lock up?
As in lock up?
Lock up in jail. I lock up in jail, so don't worry, vote for me. You ain't gonna beat me. I gonna be on stage just now. You hardly gonna beat me. You gotta come better. I don't run and hide. I have no bones in my tongue. I call it as I see it. And like I said, I am not an angel.
Yeah.
I have made mistakes in my life. Right. But I have confessed to my mistakes on radio. I have spoken of my past. I have made amends with my past. I have tried to help people that are committing the mistakes that I made in my past. And I try to help them to make sure that they don't go down the road, because not everybody might be as lucky as me to have a supporting family. You know, so in that sense, you got to come better. Yeah. I don't back down.
So you don't believe that the budget passing yesterday is going to yield anything positive for justice workers?
Absolutely nothing.
Okay.
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah, because I know a lot of justice workers are hoping that they get something before Christmas.
Maybe another fashion show.
Or a queen show. I don't know. But to me, payroll, everything has gone in already, so I don't see how it's going to get anything.
750,000 guilders. Let's say you gave everybody something. That's maximum 1,000 guilders. Yeah. That's what you're giving them. People that are owed 50,000, 60,000. I mean, people that are on pension. Yeah. What are you going to tell them? And get a little chippy. No, they should have been paid off because they are not to be placed. So they should be paid off right away. Now, if you do that, you got a lot of them home. What, 30, 40, maybe home already on pension, that you got to pay out. That's a lot of money.
Right.
So, because remember, they come from the old system. They really, it's not the last 3-4 classes of police officers that we got. It's the older group. That's where the money sits. So, it's going to be a big problem. It's going to be a big problem.
What's the party been doing lately, to reach so much people? By the way, I have to say, I have to compliment you guys. you have a candidate on your list that I hope he sticks to it. He's very good. Giovanni Gums. Very, low learning young guy, vocal and stuff like that. So that was very impressive. What are you guys doing now to get these candidates, out there now? I mean, not the regular radio interviews where they're doing what they're doing. How are they now in the communities? Do we have public meetings coming up? How are we getting the now more putting up steam, more steam?
What we are doing is we are having a lot of meet and greets.
Okay.
And the meet and greets are more direct. We ain't going into no bars and all those things. We want to go meet with a group of people
Directly.
and talk to them. Tell us what's wrong. Tell us what you feel. Look, if you think the government is doing a great job, God bless you.
Right.
But if you don't, which the majority of the country believes is the situation, then we can have that conversation. We can see what we mean. And we have a lot of dynamic young candidates. I mean, different walks of life, come from different angles in the community. So we have we even have the Friday. We have the Friday Ladies Take All, where the ladies take over. The ladies go on Fridays on a show, and it's only ladies. It shows the dynamics of the party. I think the party is young and it's hungry.
Yeah.
The party is hungry and the voters want to hear us. We are going to do public meetings in the new year.
Yeah.
And the reason we decided on that was more to stay away from the Christmas season, screaming and people and tell them this and tell them that. It's a period of peace and joy.
Right.
And while, yes, I will highlight nonsensical statements, I prefer to talk about my manifesto from the now, what we are planning. Because our manifesto, a lot of people have read it and can find themselves in it. It is a reality document. It's not a document full of flair and promises. Everybody talks about agriculture. Yet nobody wants to go the step that needs to be taken. You need a ministry. You need something. If you want to make food sustainability a reality, you need a ministry to deal with agriculture, fisheries, and animal husbandry.
Part of
it can't be a section. It can't even be a department. It needs to be a ministry. Now, we just had a whole thing on the French side. I think yesterday, 2 days ago, about fisheries and protection of fisheries and fish count and all those things. And while we have a program running here, doing some of it, the Prime Minister was sitting there because there's nobody else. There's nobody else to go. Because the minister, he doesn't even know what's going on in his own ministry, more or less to go talk about fisheries. He went to Aruba, promised them all kind of help he gonna give them. It sounded nice. It was a nice article in the newspaper, and that's where it stops. You see, and this is the problem that we have to guard against. This is an election about what we need, not what we hope we can do. No, what we need. And the question is, how do you do that? How do you pay for that? Those are the two most important things.
There's the part of the now name, the wealth part, nation, opportunity, wealth. I think a lot of people, it's the part where a lot of people ask the most questions, how, and what do you mean by wealth? And is this, how do I fit into that? And how do I take advantage of what you're offering in terms of getting us wealth? So maybe you could talk a little bit about what the party means about wealth. Nation opportunity seems to be clear. The wealth part.
Good. In wealth, it is how do you create generational wealth? Because that's what we want to do. I don't want you to get a good payday and then it's over. You fall back on nothing. Because everybody could get jobs. We could raise it to $3,500 a month. But you have no pension, you have nothing. So what happens to you 20 years from now? You're back down to nothing. Now we are saying no. Let's look at there are a lot of people in Samaritan that have money in the bank earning nothing. So we are saying a lot of people have land and they're not doing anything with it because they don't have capital, they can't get a loan. When you go to the bank, they won't give you a car loan but not a mortgage. So we are saying, okay, the people that have some money that are from here, people that have land, come together, build on it. Build homes, build things we need. The country needs, 1,000 houses?
Just about.
Great. So can we build that among ourselves and then the money stays here? We rent it and it stays here? Look, like I said in a previous program, I gave William and them credit when they sold all the houses in South Reward for Gilda after the hurricane in 95. The same thing we can do now with Belvedere. There's a section of Belvedere people have been paying for 25 years. It was built in 1998. Do the math, that's 25 years ago. I mean, I'm talking crazy. 1998 to 2023 is 25 years. These people have been paying. While they were subsidized, now they are paying the full brunt. Nobody was fixing it for them, not even the government. When they went, I was sitting in Parliament when Mr. Solomon and the team came in, asked for 45 million. The same minister that today said he fixed this and he fixed that and he do that was the one running him out of Parliament. Yeah. Told him he ain't into that. He don't believe in them. Go for mayor. You see, that's the hypocrisy in this thing. But to get back to wealth, if we do this ourselves and we build these homes and we come to an agreement with the Housing Foundation to manage it, that means it's a return on investment and you have an asset. Yeah. For the next 50 years, you can pass it on to your children, whatever. Yeah. It's ownership. It isn't something that is there. It's ownership. Right. Same goes for the cannabis, agriculture. These are things that we will own ourselves. We own the industry of cannabis. We own the industry in agriculture. We create fishing vessels and fleets that can fish for us in a well put together plan. We can create industries like shrimp, lobster, conch, all alongside our coastline. Yeah. We can do these things. We don't pay attention, but we can. I am saying GB is a centerpiece in our community. Yeah. You can't do without GB, right. And we shouldn't pretend that we're going to do without GB for the next 20 years. Right. But it doesn't mean to say that we can't take $20-30 million and invest it into solar programs, solar panels on the roofs of schools, on the roofs of homes, and the people, they continue paying GB, their regular consumption, but the energy that is derived off of the solar panels goes onto the line from GB, right, back into the grid, right. Which means GB is producing less electricity, producing, running the engines less fuel. So if you want to talk about, I am fighting the fight against climate change, then show it. Because all we have done in this country is lip service. I hear them talking about asphalt, and we're going to start doing concrete and not asphalt, and I'm saying to myself, do you understand how a road is built? In America, all the roads are asphalt. Yes. What do? They put a base of concrete underneath. What we do here is because nobody could see the base, you put next to nothing as base. Yes. That's why your roads get mashed up. That's why you get potholes. You got to put the drainage on the side to ensure the road remains dry. But when you hear people talking these things and you realize they have absolutely no clue what they're talking about, they go and rip open Orange Grove Road and they're going to throw back the concrete. It's going to come up. Yeah. The water going to keep, because the shit water still running down the side of the road. Yeah. That they didn't fix. You see, and this is the problem. You want to fix the infection by putting a plaster on the wound outside. No, you got to treat the wound inside. That's where the infection is. It's not on the outside, it's on the inside. Same goes for a road. It's the foundation of the road. And if you don't put your money in that, the road will get damaged all the time. And I don't want to blame the minister for that, because I understand that's not his field of expertise. And he did tell me he put a lot of experts around him. Not one person in his cabinet carries any sort of technical degree to talk about what he's talking about. Yeah. So
his advisor getting outside.
Exactly. Yeah. You know, and this is the problem. Yeah. You come and you talk one thing out of one side of your mouth and another thing out the other side. Yeah, don't do that, man.
We're going to get to the structure of, you know, when you look at the US in these places, is the governor, for example, or even the city commissioner or wherever, don't have to jump into action when there's a storm. Those people in the different departments know exactly what they need. The 1, 2, 3. You know,
but that exists, storm, Mike.
You jump in.
Mike, it exists. We used to have we have the EOC.
The EOC.
And when I was there, one of the last things I did was finalize the draft document on how the VROMI ministry runs, because the department I came from was one of the most instrumental departments that have to deal with the hurricane before, during, and after. You know, all the other departments also have, you know, VROM goes out and sees if the beaches were damaged, how much coastal erosion we had. Inspection, we fly drones fast to see what was damaged so we know when it's being rebuilt. Do you have a permit? Yes or no? Oh, look, every department has a task. But lately, nobody wants to do anything because everybody's afraid to get blamed.
But that's what you're seeing. There's nothing being done.
You know, and I laugh about it sometimes, because I tell them, well, I have been blamed for a lot of things. I've been even prosecuted for a lot of things that I allegedly did. And all I do is I smile because I heard there was a discussion about Chris build the Irma dump. And then I even heard former ministers on the radio saying that they...
The Irma dump, but the Irma dump came after 2017.
Correct. And there was a minister said, but he told Chris to go and throw all the steel in the quarry from GB. Now, all of this is nice and well. You know, it's a great story. And I'll tell you why it's a great story. When Irma hit, we started cleaning up.
Right.
We created about 8
I was there.
temporary dumps. We created them. And about 10 days after, we started moving the debris from those dumps to the Irma dump. At that point in time, Christopher Emmanuel was the Minister of Romy, but had nothing to say about Romy.
Was the Prime Minister.
I reported to the EOC. The EOC was led by the then Prime Minister of the country, William Allen.
Right.
The instructions were clear. Every 2 days, because remember we had a big riots. Every 2 days, looting. Every 2 days, I believe it was, the whole Council of Ministers would meet with the governor. Because the governor was involved. The governor wasn't slacking on nothing. He wanted to be involved in everything with the chief of the Marines and all that. But our instructions with the dump came out of the EOC. They didn't come from Minister Christopher Emmanuel. I need that to be clear and understood. I still have the minutes of those meetings.
I remember I used to walk through
I don't mind publishing the minutes of the meetings, but we shouldn't create this. I mean, look, nothing against nobody because I have a lot of respect for the former Prime Minister William Allen.
Yes.
I have a lot of respect for him. I learned a lot from him too, and I like his style of working because he works just like me. He gets it done.
Right.
He didn't do all this long talk.
Right.
He didn't all this bureaucracy. You got to do the thing, do it.
Yeah.
Just make sure we do it the right way.
Yeah.
That's all, but do it. So that's where we were. I can remember when we were looking for contractors. We held meetings in front of the new government administration building where there were 100, 120 contractors there. Everybody was sending contractors at us, and we were separate. Even MP Westcott was there those days bringing contractors because they needed. Everybody wanted to help.
Right.
So to come afterwards and say, oh, Christopher Emmanuel as Minister of Romy built the Irma dump, that's ludicrousy. And I'll tell you why. When Prime Minister William was moved, I think it was Boseman stepped in. Raphael Boseman stepped in at that time as deputizing Prime Minister. And they were gone in January. That landfill, Irma landfill, up until today, 6 years further, is still being loaded with material. Christopher, do that for true? And you have been sitting in the position for the past 4 years? Man, you know, this is the hogwash that needs to be addressed. You could jump as high as you want. EOC, led by former Prime Minister William Allen, gave the instructions. That's the field we were using. We even had Babal with people like Antonio Rogers, who had that field using for donkey years, came back and asked for the field. And we had agreed with him that we were going to clean back up the field. World Bank walks in, and they changed it after I left, because up to when I was there, January 29, 2020, they were moving it. After Buncamper left the meetings in DV, guess what? It's still there.
Yeah.
And we're doing waste management. Yeah. And that's why I just beat up on NRPB, because I know the story. You're going to pull no wool over my hair.
Yeah. I see the advertising, something for waste management. What is that? Facility, water treatment facility or something? They got a full page out in the arrow.
Again. I right now I don't know anymore what they're doing.
Yeah.
I know when it comes to the wastewater facility, treatment facility, that should be the one for KB. Okay. That's the one that was supposed to work where we working with the French side. That has to do with Interreg. Monies are being made available, and the government bought the land behind GB, behind the water plant up there where Fonso O'Connor and them used to live. Mm-hmm. Up there they're going to build it. Everything is going to be pumped there, and the discharge from there is going to go about 1.5 kilometers into the sea. Right. So past the Pelican Point, if there's an overflow, it will not affect the coastal area of the country, because once you pass Pelican Point, it goes out to the west, so it will not affect.
And when you get back into Parliament, not to say when you get back into Parliament, you've been very vocal over the last couple of months by your podcasts and everything. What is your immediate intention as you get back in? Because I know before you used to be okay, the government got a benefit of the doubt a lot. I asked you this question already, but no, I think you have a change of mindset. Back in, what is your immediate attention going to be?
I think there are a lot of things that needed adjusting. I think, for me, very important is job security and country safety. I have a problem with the safety in this country. The safety is not up to par. The police officers need the necessary help, and they're not getting it. They're being demotivated with their pay. So if we're going to do certain things, we have to look at something like that. Okay. We have to look at GB. GB needs an injection. So if you're going to take a loan that gives you a return on investment. A road does not give you a return on investment right now. It doesn't. And I mean, the Minister of Finance knows that. And that he would play along with this, is unfortunate, because I have respect for him. I think he's a well-educated guy, and he knows what needs to be done and what doesn't need to be done. But helping your partners ain't going to help the country. And that's the problem that I have right now with the Minister of Finance. He is not putting the country first. He's putting the party and his colleagues first, and that's going to be detrimental for the country eventually. I see it a little different. Some people, tell me, but I think our economy needs to be reviewed carefully. The solar pillar that we have on tourism, it's all nice and well, but tourism only brings minimum wage jobs, if we like it or not. And we stepped away from the high-end tourists to the low-end, the backpackers. Yeah. And I even saw a little review there. I think one of the candidates from DP even made a little video about Front Street, and somebody said, "Oh God, here we have another Cookierian," and it was unfortunate because, yes, Phillipsburg, and I want to change this. Phillipsburg used to be the center of attention with tourism. It isn't anymore. No. It has lost that glamour. And that glamour is lost not only because the sidewalks are good, but because of security. Every store closes down with shutters. Yeah. There are no lights on the road anymore. Nobody is there for window shopping. There is nothing. So it is not a one-way street. Yeah. Listen, Theo built Phillipsburg. Yeah. Phillipsburg was booming with a boardwalk. They had all kind of chit-chat, but he did it. He believed in the vision. Was everything built correctly? I don't think so. Yeah. Coming from a technical background, I had my qualms with certain things, but you know what? It did work. Yeah. And because it's not maintained. So nobody is maintaining it. And I understand there is no money to maintain it, because with 2 million guilders a year that I worked with for 15 years, trying to fix roads, you can't maintain a place like Phillipsburg. That needs serious money on its own. Yeah. But we have to ask ourselves, how usable is Phillipsburg? Because you got 3-4 different taxi associations that work in Phillipsburg. Now you're hearing people with vision saying the minute they get elected, they're going to take a water taxi to go to the airport. Yeah. So what are you doing to the taxi drivers? Are you going to destroy your own party? Just gave 550, cap it at 550. Yeah. The minute Grisha questioned it in Parliament, a little Facebook ad come out that they reach a cap, nobody apply no more. And I'm saying to myself, wait. And then the next day he comes with his vision. And says, I'm going to put water taxis to the airport, thereby most probably Morgan and one of those hotels. And I'm saying to myself, wait. What are we doing? Are we going to destroy the taxi and shuttle buses and them with water taxis? Who are going to get these water taxis? Is it going to be the Samaritan Taxi Association? Because then it might make sense. Yeah. If it's the Taxi Association, generational wealth, we're going to give all you the licenses, you all exploit it. Right. So maybe, or you bring them down during the day because the traffic ain't bad, but coming up in the afternoon, let the water taxis bring up the hundreds of them. But hey, is the taxi driver still collecting the money? Right. Because they are part and parcel of the generational wealth. Right. So you got to look at it from a broader perspective. You can't just say, I'm going to do this. That don't make no sense. It cannot be so that once again, we're going to pick a few and help them. That's the big difference with the now. The now is saying, we want to create generational wealth for the people of St. Martin. Why is it that they cannot become a millionaire? Claude did it, Claude made a lot of local St. Martin families millionaires. That the generations that came afterward messed it up. That's a different story. But he did give them the opportunity. He did give it to them. So I am saying, let's look at this again. Let's see how we can do this again. And maybe it won't be in a scale anymore of heavy equipment and those type of things because times have changed. Artificial intelligence is coming, and it means people are going to lose their jobs. So we're going to have to get into a different paradigm on this country when it comes to digitalization. How do we deal with that? How are we going to use cars that drive without a driver? You know, I mean, let's be honest. 20 years from now, where are we? How do you plan for 20 years from now when you don't even know what's happening now? That's the problem this government has. They have absolutely no clue what's happening now. They believe that if they bust a paint coat on an ugly wall and make it look nice, it's fixed. It's not. You got to fix the surface so the paint can stick on, otherwise 6 months from now the paint fall.
Do you think that the alliance we've had 4 years of governing, if how you want to describe it, style of governing, is actually capable? I mean, moving forward to guide this country, considering what all this country needs. Do you think, based on their history and their record, they're capable?
No.
Okay.
I want to just be honest.
And I know I could count on your honesty. So that's why I asked you if they're capable, because I look at them and I do not think they.
No, they're not.
I like a candidate or two in between who's running now, but they're new. But you look at the overall.
I don't think they.
But I just wanted to get your
I don't think
opinion
they. I don't think they understand governing. And governing is not for a period. Governing is for a. You have to look forward. You can't just say we're going to do it this way because this is the way we feel it so. And that's when you hear ministers saying, well, from September 11th, anything that came in then, they're going to get a license. Anything before that ain't getting a license. A minister says, well, Vineyard Heights was whoever came in 2020, before that I ain't counting. Judge throw it out. Because you are then setting a new precedence that people that have asked for taxi licenses ain't get it, and others that didn't have a right to get it. And then I like how they said it. But the law doesn't say so. But the habit or the policy was that we saved that for the Samaritaner, for the Dutch passport holder. And if you're going to change it because you said the law didn't say so, that means your intentions were different. Because we didn't come out and say, I am looking at this, I am going to be opening this for everybody again, so please. Because underneath it said Dutch will be given preference. So how is it that you have a few hundred people looking for a taxi license with a Dutch passport, and you give out 20, 30 to those without a Dutch passport, but with permanent residency? And I agree with you wholeheartedly that those people are part of the country. But there are X amount of things that are for those that carry the Dutch passport. That's what they did with sole proprietorships. They went and changed it, and basically they ain't changed nothing because now you need to get a permit or a business license before you could get the sole proprietorship. So they just made it more complicated and costly, as if it's a money-making business. The same thing with you want a work permit? Or you don't need to be married no more. If you're living in concubine, is good. But we stopped that because it wasn't functioning. What data can you present to show that it can change again and it won't happen? You have lost so many court cases, Minister, when it comes to immigration that it ain't funny no more. And then you come with this political mumbo jumbo.
Well, where's the consultation? And I keep saying that.
I don't know about consultation anymore.
There's nobody's ever, like the public, for example, is never consulted on these things. The taxi drivers complain that they haven't been consulted about before you change such a policy. There is no consultation across the board of the people.
Mike,
that alone to be disqualifies you for government.
Mike, the problem is this: when your governing period was 1,460 or 70 days, and in the last 30 days suddenly you come with all kind of things, I'm saying that's a political stunt, a political hoax, and it ain't gonna work. Because a lot of people will get disappointed after January 11th if they casted their vote one way and they didn't get what they were promised. And then when people rile up and do crazy things, and say, oh, you see the public getting, we enticing them to, no, you did, you lied to them. You told them all kind of things that you know ain't true.
But the ironic part to me is that you cannot tell the people what you have done for 4 years. But within the last 2 weeks, you want to roll out a whole resume of things. It's
Again,
it's like
the resume, they forgot one word: wishful.
yeah,
Because it's wishful. It is wishful that they did this and they didn't do it.
it's too funny.
They really didn't do it. And I'm saying to myself, okay, the biggest problem Samaritan had in 2018 was the landfill.
Besides, let me just fill it. Besides, Mr. Otley, though, I do give him credit for doing some work.
Yeah, no, again,
For him, for sure, I do give
again,
credit.
it depends what
The
we're
rest
talking
is
about.
like,
Because there are a lot of things that we boast but mean nothing.
yeah.
When you say, I raise minimum wage with a guilder, that means a total of 173 guilders, because that's 173 hours extra you're working. And I asked myself, okay, so now they're making 1,700, 1,800. But the livable wage where the census says 3,552 for a household.
And that's low.
How do you feel that you made a difference? You made a difference? How do you say, I raised AOV with 98 guilders and I'm making a difference for the seniors, when the seniors are going hungry every week, every month, every 6 months? And that Buncamper saying it, that's the census 2022 saying it. I mean, come on. Yeah. You can't be pounding your chest as if you feel you made a difference. You didn't make a difference. Yeah. That dent is not good enough.
Not only that.
This is what we got to understand.
In the community, when you have your, God knows how much soup kitchens, and people lining up to get free food every since it wasn't even a hurricane phenomenon. It's still there now. People have to get food delivered to them.
It's growing. It's not growing. Going backwards.
No,
it's growing.
It's getting bigger.
Look at Nurse Nanny. No, Nurse Nanny became a whole food kitchen.
Yes, it's getting
Remember,
bigger.
we have about 3-4 of them. You have vegan food. This is listen.
Read a lot into that. People.
And again, and that's why I keep saying, be cautious with what you pound your chest with, because not everything is a win. Yes, baby steps, we're taking them forward. They jump up and the whole hospital becomes a discussion. We're doing this, we're doing that. And I'm saying to myself, but we didn't even have the foundation yet.
No.
And, I put more concrete. Okay. But you didn't put a hospital. You put more concrete. Nobody working there, cranes them pack up. I mean, please. You talk about the sustainable, acceptable, the Health Act, the SAHA, I just call it the AHA, because they ain't going to place. When he realized what it meant, that people were going to have to pay a bigger premium, suddenly it wasn't good enough to go before elections. So the earliest it will come is 2025 or 2026. So what happened with all those bus drivers, taxi drivers that were promised, according to law, they were going to be insured? Come the 1st of January, they enforcing all kind of things in TIAT, but VSI ain't ready with the law, SZV ain't going to accept them. So what happens then? Yeah. Oops. That we going to hear? Oops. Because that's what it's all about. It's a lot of hot air, but there's no substance. And again, I don't have an issue that you're working on it, but don't come out and do as if the solution is fixed. It's there. It's done. It's in the bag. It's not in the bag. Because we don't know if the people can pay for it. You don't know if the doctors are going to work under these conditions.
True.
So again, there are a lot of things that, and will they now walk in there and solve it tomorrow? Absolutely not. Right. But at least, if you do it the right way, you stand the chance to get it done. And I think right now, the right way is not clear by the government. Right. That's my problem. It's not clear.
Okay. Well, I now have his hands full when he gets in there. From day one, from January, whenever Pablo is swearing, a month after.
I think February.
Yeah, have your hands full. But you have your manifesto, and a lot of people deviate from the manifestos when they get into God. So I hope that manifesto is like your Bible.
It is what we stand for. Okay. And remember, I ain't gonna be no hypocrite.
Right.
When you form a coalition, there's a give and take.
Right.
And there are certain things that we are willing to give in, but there are certain things we are not willing to give in on.
Right.
Like the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries, we are not willing to give in on that. We are not willing to give in on pre-clearance, because those are things that are going to inject significant funds
Yeah.
into this economy. You know, the entrepreneurial program, these are things we don't want to give in on just like that. I understand you're going to have to throw a little water in the wine to get it,
Yeah,
you know,
of
to
course.
reach where you got to reach.
Yeah.
But at least we are upfront,
Yeah.
honest. In our manifesto, we said these things we don't want
And
to
there's
give it
still too
on.
much of a disconnect between labor and education.
There is no connect. There is no connect. We
It's
keep
a-
talking about this connect.
Yeah.
Mike, there is no connect. Because the minister said, oh, he come with all the plans and the policies. The minute he saw the Hall of Parliament, he panicked. He pulled back everything. I ain't ready. You were ready? You were never ready.
Yeah.
4 years you're there, you were never ready.
Education is a disaster.
It's in
It's a
shambles.
absolute
It's in
disaster.
complete shambles. And then they try to tie in NEPA with the university and the labor market. And I'm saying all of them have their place in our society. NEPA, remember, NEPA is the advancement, the National Institute for Professional
Right.
Advancement.
Right.
But you can't just take up somebody from TKL and walk them.
No.
Doesn't work so.
No.
They need to have a certain level to do certain things
Correct.
if you want to roll it out. The same goes for university. Where are we tying the university to the job market? I like the piece now that before you get a scholarship to leave to Holland or to the States, you're going to grind a year here so you understand what university really all about. Instead of going up there, waste your money in a scholarship. No. What they need to do is make sure that they know what the hell they're doing.
Yeah,
because it ain't just for savings, the sake of saving money, that you're going to put people at the university and the curriculum does not even fit in to what they're going to do.
Credited.
Exactly.
Let's
So,
start with that.
no, but that's why I said
Yeah.
it ain't going nowhere. You're just throwing out bits and pieces, but there's no complete structural,
Sure.
you know, and that's a problem because young people have a very low tolerance for BS.
That's right.
They don't have patience anymore.
Yeah.
You know, the telephone has taught them, Google this, and bam,
Instant.
answer is there.
Yeah.
And then you hear people, when they ask them a question, you know, they say, okay, then we know how late it is.
Yes. Folks, we'll be talking to MP Buncamper here, number 2 candidate and the deputy leader of the Nation Opportunity Wealth Party, the Now Party, the Yellow Party, with a dash of red, I like to say. MP going to be with us a few more times. Next time I want to talk to him about beaches and our access and everything that's going on with our beaches. Some of the developments we're starting to see in the country, the new hotels, etc., etc. Want to pick your brain on those issues a little bit, how we're looking with what type of tourism we're bringing here, what type of properties we should be looking at, and all this kind of things. I want to get into some more with you because I think
Not a
you
problem.
understand that as well.
I think if you see what's happening in Anguilla,
Yeah.
you're going to start scratching your head because they're not waiting on us anymore.
Oh, but
They're-
any of the countries around the place,
St. Kitts is not waiting on us.
No.
Antigua's not waiting on us, you know.
Yeah.
Disney moving over to Tortola.
Yeah.
You know, and these are the things that we need to realize when you say we're doing better. The question is, what do you mean with better?
I don't know.
Because you get more tourists don't mean you're doing better because you have less calls.
Yeah.
So the people are making less money.
Yeah. And this whole story of always blowing up when a seasonal flight starts, as if you did something so great for a seasonal flight to start. It's seasonal. And
Not
I was
only that.
imagining that was a business decision by the company.
Thank you.
That's
Listen,
what that was.
American ain't coming here because they like Lambrics.
No.
American coming here because they can make money.
Exactly.
Delta would come here if they could make money. And if
What-
they can't make money, they ain't coming.
What strategies are you putting in place to become like an Aruba where you don't have a season? Okay, those are the questions.
And
those are the things to be looking at.
that question is a simple answer.
Okay.
U.S. pre-clearance.
Wow.
Because then you are bringing in the low-cost carriers. Then people got money to spend on the island in the hotels and in the businesses.
Mm-hmm.
You see, because the U.S. pre-clearance, the principal thing is the fast turnaround when the aircraft reaches back to America.
Correct.
So they could be back up in the air and not for
down.
3 hours
On the floor.
stuck at a gate because of customs and all those things to be cleared. You know, this is what it's about. And they say, oh, it's so expensive because you got to put up all those people. We put them the ones now too from
Poor man.
the NRPB, exactly.
yeah, they
We put them up too.
Paying rent, they get
We
taxed,
giving them
everything.
all kind of
Yeah,
little thing.
privileges.
But for pre-clearance we can't do it. Then you got an idiot down at the airport talking.
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is.
But we're going to get into that. Those are the things that as we get closer to election, we're going to definitely get into. And Peter, final words for your episode today.
Well, you know, Mike, like I say, every day you live life.
Yes.
And you look at it every day from a different angle. Our manifesto is the angles we will be using
Yes.
from now to election, and then that manifesto will hopefully, if we form government, become part of the governing program, so that at least what we told the people we are going to do, we are going to do, especially when it comes to the seniors, especially when it comes to the economy, the new ministries, those type of things. I believe the now is a fresh choice,
Right.
a good choice for a lot of people. People are frustrated with what's happening. And you can target me as much as you want with, oh, I convicted. You can target Chris as much as you want. Bottom line is, the Now Party is 21 members strong, not 2 members strong. We might be 2 seasoned members,
Right.
but we got a good group there that we can guide and bring this country to new heights that they haven't seen in a long, long, long time.
Right. Folks, again, I was in Buncamper, and we have a great weekend. I know you're going to be out on the campaign trail as
Definitely.
everyone is these days. Enjoy the Christmas holidays still, and find a little time in between. You know, and how's things going by the turtle?
Like, Cocky Turtle doing
Yeah.
good, man. I must say, they are getting some tours and so it's nice, you know. It's one of the few local beach bars on the island, and
That's true.
it's working out. I mean, you know, you're always grateful with what you can get.
Exactly.
You know, you work hard for it. I think my son and his partner have put in a lot of time. They work very hard down there.
Yeah.
When you go on TripAdvisor, anything else, you really see how good they are. I'm proud of my
how
son.
well people speak of
Yes,
themselves
yes.
and everything.
I'm very
That's
proud
good.
of my son and Jamie and
Yeah.
their team down there. They work hard. You know, behind the scenes, there are more people helping too. So,
Right.
you know, they know who they are. So, you know.
And they're the locals and a mixed list of everybody else.
Yes,
So,
and what I like is we don't only cater to the tourists;
Right.
they cater to locals. We have a lot of local clients come down there,
Yeah,
and I say
events,
we,
yeah.
and that's what got me in trouble last time with the boys, because I said we in a statement. But it is my son and his fiancée and my daughter that are really the ones working down, doing what has to be done down there. Me and my wife, we like to mind the grandchildren and spend our time a little more peaceful looking at TV too, you know. So, but you know, it is what it is, Mike. It is good. God has been good to me.
Okay.
You know, I have some legal issues that I will be dealing with, but you know, not that I am scared or that I sleep less at night or I fear. Whatever has to happen will happen. You know, and I can't change that. So why forsake myself by sleeping bad at night because this might happen? No.
enjoying your grandchildren.
I am going to enjoy life the way it was meant to be enjoyed, you know, so I cool with that, man.
And eventually, that too shall pass.
Oh yeah. After every rainfall, there's sunshine.
That's right. Folks, keep it locked to 88.3 FM. We'll be right back.